Hey peeps, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sword, otherwise known as Katana Crossing, and in today's video I will be building a farmer's market with an orchard right behind it, and it's sort of like close to my farm area, so I thought it was the perfect place to build it. And this was such a fun build to do, and there's so many new 2.0 items that I finally got to use, and I was just so excited with how this turned out. So I'm really excited to go ahead and show you guys what we did. So I started out by laying down these paths. So I have the light dirt path for the farmer's market, and then the dark dirt path is where my orchard is gonna go. So I started out by lining it with this kind of like brick looking design. I have all my customs that I will be using saved on my Macchiato Pinterest board if you want to download any of them, so that will be in the description for you all if you want to use this as well. And yeah, I'm just basically lining this and getting the dirt ready to start planting my fruit trees. Then once I was done with that, this is gonna look a lot more complicated than it really is, because I just ended up planting the same fruit in like a line. I know everyone does their orchards differently, but this is just what I ended up doing with the space I had to work with. So as you can see, I'm just putting all these apple trees sort of in a line, and I do the same thing with the rest of the fruit. So for some reason, I don't know why, I was trying to make it more complicated than it should have been, but you'll see that I'm trying to leave a little space in between, so there's kind of like a little pathway that you can walk down when you're walking through the orchard. And then I needed to expand it more to make room for pear trees, because I almost forgot about pear trees, even though my native fruit is literally pears. And then you can see I'm using this pretty fall leafy path by Colin, and I'm just placing it down here. This is the main path I've been using on this island, and I love it so much. It's so good because this is like an autumnal, cozy, kind of a small town, countryside island, not island, but like town. And yeah, I really liked how it turned out. This is what it looks like with the fruit trees grown in. Some of them didn't actually grow, but I ended up fixing that later. I used this bucket here, and I put down like just little things around it. And then I started on my farmer's market, so I placed these plain party light arches right behind where everything else is gonna go, because I wanted it to look just super pretty. And I also used this gazebo item to kind of make a little way into the orchard, and I don't know, I thought it was really fitting and it looked really cute. And then of course I used these storefront items, because who isn't using the storefront items right now? Let's be real, they're so good for building, they're so good for pretty much any type of build. You'll see that I'm kind of varying between the colors because I don't want it to look too perfect. I want it to look like some of them are a little bit more rustic and worn down. And then I placed stalls customized in this nice pattern right in front of them, because this is kind of where all the food and stuff is gonna go. And I also used this newer item. This is where the cash register is gonna end up going, but you'll see that I end up just rearranging a bunch of things later on. Okay, so now that I have the basic placement, I started placing down the little fall path again, just to kind of give this area a little bit more detail on the ground, because I don't know, the light dirt path is just kind of boring to look at, so I tried to add as much as I could. And I added these little topiaries, I added the pergola, which I've been using everywhere, and then you'll see I add a bunch of fruit cooking recipe items. There's like jam, there's smoothies, there's pies that I used, and I tried to kind of place them next to each other with like the fruit that they were made out of, just to make it look super organized, I guess. And then for the rest of the time, I just kind of lined this little area up with the storefront items just to kind of close it off and make it actually feel like an outdoor farmer's market. And then I ended up customizing this large lattice fencing in the dark brown color. I know it doesn't look dark brown on camera, but I promise it is, and I love this new fencing item. I think it's so good, and I just ended up lining the front area with it because I wanted to use some of the new fencing on this build, and it turned out really nice. And then I ended up lining the rest of this area with like these counter tables just to have a place to put all the pies and all the produce and things like that on them, and it just gave this area more detail and just, I don't know, more colors. So then I added the cash register, and then this is where I added a bunch of juice. I just ended up filling the counters with a ton of food, pies, things like that. I also tried to decorate still with like the pumpkin DIYs, and I even added a stonework kitchen thing item so that I could actually be able to bake and cook in this area, because I think that even though it looks nice, I also want to be able to use this area to get to fruit really easily so I can bake and cook things. And I don't know, I think it's really fun to actually be able to use the areas that you build personally. So you'll see I'm just placing more jelly, more pies. All this food is looking so good. It's making me hungry a little bit, not gonna lie. And then I even placed some of the wheat field items. I don't know, I just wanted to make it look overgrown and fill the space a little. I added a little bit more detail to the orchard, but not much more. I just wanted it to look better, I guess. And then this is where I used a bunch of those new shopping cart items and carts. I think it adds so much to this little area because it just actually looks like a little market, which is so cool. And I'm obsessed with like the new grocery bag item. I used a bunch of those in this area, and I think it gives it so much detail. And I know this is a very popular new item as well, but it looks so good. I even put a scooter out in front. And that's pretty much it for this little area. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I will probably be adding more in the future, but this is just what we have for now. This is what I've started, and I don't know, I feel like this pulls together this whole area so well. I'm definitely gonna redo my little farm area that's right next to it. I'll probably add a bunch of new items like the carrot juice and other types of like vegetable cooking recipes that I can make in this area. But this is pretty much it for my build, so I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you guys like the way the cooking recipes look as much as I do. If you did enjoy this video, give it a big like and make sure to subscribe and turn on your post notifications if you want to see more content from me, because it helps me out so much. I hope you all are doing so well, and I will see you in my next video or stream.